and welcome to everyone to our very first podcast under the Capstone Program. My name is Mohammad Qasim, and I'll be your host for today. Well, a brief intro about myself. I am currently a sophomore in a sophomore year pursuing my bachelor's in accounting and finance from IBA Karachi. I'm deeply interested in financial literacy, youth empowerment, and how young people create real impact in society. Coming forward, today's conversation is very special because we are speaking with someone who didn't just talk about change, she actually built something meaningful across Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about Adan Shehzad. So, Adan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure to be here, and thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, we are really glad to have you with us. Adan, I would love to start from the very beginning of your journey. Let's start with your early life. What was your schooling like, and what kind of student were you growing up?
So, growing up, I've moved through a lot of different schools, which I think it gave me a chance to explore different subjects and activities. As a kid, I've always been curious and loved experimenting. So, whether it would be arts, maths, robotics, or any personal projects, I just try it to see how it would work out. Early on, I think I realized that the best way to grow is by taking risk and putting yourself out there. So even if I'd fail or look silly with it, I think of it as just paying an embarrassment tax early on for the lessons that you learn from trying new things while you're still young. And looking back at those experiences, they really shaped the way I approach challenges today. And ultimately, I think that finance is the perfect path for me. For my schooling, I went to Roots, then I changed to Turk, and then LGS, so it was quite diverse for me.
That's great. So then I've heard about a financial youth club and I'm really curious about it. What inspired you to start it in the very first place?
So the inspiration behind Financial Youth Club was a gap that I personally experienced. I noticed that students are extremely ambitious, but I noticed that they often lack clarity. They don't really fully understand the careers in finance, like investment banking, consulting, venture capital, or even private equity. There's like no clear roadmap. So we're often told to study hard, but we're rarely told how industries actually work or how to navigate them. And I did not want students to feel lost. So I created like a space where they could explore, learn, and gain guidance by building like real world experiences and a clear pathway to finance.
So, was the idea something you had planned very long before, or did it come out spontaneously?
Um, I'd say it was almost spontaneous. Initially, I just wanted to create something small, a community where students could learn about finance in a proper and practical way. Honestly, when I was like 14 or 15, I used to visit public schools and orphanages and voluntarily teach them about personal finance. And I believe that it's something everyone should learn no matter what field they're getting themselves into, like medical, engineering, or even finance. It's something like that builds your career is built upon it. And those volunteer sessions gradually evolved into workshops turned into programs, and then over time into a full initiative. And now FIC evolves in multiple layers and has a very structured approach to helping students navigate their careers in finance.
So, before further diving deep into Financial Youth Club, I have also heard that you did your first internship at the age of 16, which is quite amazing. What motivated you to step so early in your life?
So I knew very early on that I wanted to get into finance. And at 16, I did not really want to wait until university to take my initial steps or to start. I believe that exposure really builds confidence. So I pushed myself to enter the professional corporate environment really early on to just see firsthand how it's like and how decisions are made. The experience honestly completely shifted my mindset, and I realized that age is not a limitation at all. My first corporate internship was at MCB. While I did end up in the HR department and it wasn't my initial plan, it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Um, at that stage, I did not really fully understand the different pathways in finance, and I knew I wanted to get into finance. But then again, what specifically was unclear for me as well. In turning into HR, it kind of gave me perspective on how even it kind of gave me a perspective that even university students might not get that early on. It taught me the value of exposure and learning, observing how professional decisions are actually made. And I think it was something exactly what I was looking for.
Right. So now coming back towards the financial youth club. So when you started your financial youth club, right? Were you working alone at the very start time, or you had a team that was supporting you at your back?
So initially, I did start it alone. The idea it was something I really wanted to take steps towards. I heard that almost most of the ventures fail if they don't really have a co-founder. While many people around me did express interest in joining as a co-founder or like a vice president, I wanted to just do it purely out of passion for the love of the game. So as momentum grew, I began to build a team of people that truly believed in the mission. And today, FYC has like a diverse uh, team, which includes university students, high schoolers, even students that have completed their masters and are in the corporate environment. They still make time for initiatives like the Financial Youth Club. Um, and our team spans like multiple countries as well, which I think is great. Students from the US, India, Pakistan, Peru, China, UK, even UAE. So it's like quite a diverse team, and we're still growing. So FYC has really evolved into from a small idea to like an organization capable of creating actual impact for students worldwide.
That's commendable. So for someone hearing about financial youth club for the very first time, right? Could you explain what it does and what and why it's special in Pakistan's financial landscape, which is our main topic today?
I'd say education in Pakistan. Hmm. Let me think about it. So we focus on clarity, and when students understand industries, roles, pathways, they stop feeling insecure. They start making strategic choices, and we also give them like exposure, like case studies, discussions, practical insights. It's not just theory. It's we're building confidence for them, and it doesn't just come from motivation. It comes from competence.
So I'm sure that starting something like this wasn't easy at all. So what were some of the biggest challenges, or if I might say, what are some of the biggest hurdles you faced in your early days of FYC?
Hmm. So I'd say like for me personally, the biggest challenge was credibility. When you're young, people often underestimate you and question your seriousness. As teenagers, we're often treated like children but expected to be like an adult. So being a teenager myself, I think the most difficult thing was the fact that people questioned my seriousness and the fact that if I'm actually going to take this initiative into a bigger scale. Another challenge was the system and process and like building a team while being a student myself. But honestly, those struggles really built my leadership skills faster than any classroom could ever.
Great. So how do financial youth club help students build their own confidence and prepare them for the future careers?
Um, so for their future careers, I think knowing what they want is really important. As I said, Financial Youth Club teaches students the different pathways in finance that most universities don't really teach them early on. They are supposed to pick a major when they're just a teenager and then go with it for the rest of their life without knowing what that pathway really has to offer. So early on, we teach them what each pathway has to offer for them. And of course, it's something that Pakistan does not really have yet, but hopefully later on there would be multiple initiatives like the Financial Youth Club, which teach students how to be ready for the future, for and how to actually be prepared for their career ahead.
Okay, right. So Adan, whenever any student or any particular person is stepping into something new, they want themselves to see their changes after graduating or after completing that task or webinar or whatever. So have you noticed any particular transformations or changes in students after they joined FYC?
Um, the biggest change I'd say is the mindset, the biggest difference that we make. Students go from saying, I don't know what I want to do, to just saying that, oh, I want to pursue investment banking and here's my 3 year career plan. So we shift from confusion to direction, and that is something that we love with FYC.
Right. So another question is, do you think financial literacy should be part of Pakistan's formal education? If you think so, why?
I think absolutely financial literacy should definitely be a part of formal education in Pakistan. Right now in Pakistan, students aren't taught how to manage money, how to budget, or how to invest, or even understand how taxes work. In Pakistan, a lot of students focus purely on STEM subjects with the goal of entering medical or engineering just for a high paying career. But no matter how high your paycheck is, if you don't really know how to manage your finances, you'll always struggle. Understanding money is something that really helps students early on to better understand their career choices, to avoid debt, and build wealth with responsibility. So I think, yeah, it's something really important.
Right. So being a founder, one has to look at the left, right, back, every side of the aspect when they are leading something. So as a founder of Financial Youth Club, what were your biggest lessons?
My biggest lesson, honestly, wait, let me think about this. Um, I'd say vision is not enough. Execution really matters. It's one thing to have like a great idea, but turning that great idea into something bigger or something tangible really requires patience, building the right team. Um, you can't really do everything alone. So finding the right people who believe in the mission and complement your skills is really crucial. And lastly, I'd say I realized that failure and setbacks are just part of the process, and embracing them is like a learning opportunity in itself and really allows the organization, not just you, the whole organization to grow.
Well, Adan, if you were 15 years, I mean, if you could go back and give advice to your 15 or 14-year self, what would that be? Would it be the same you were at 14, or would you ask him to change that perspective?
To my 15-year-old self, I'd say calm down. Everything eventually will work out, and don't just stress out. If you did not achieve what you wanted to, you will eventually get something better. So yeah, that I think that would be a good advice for my 15-year-old self.
Okay, so was there a failure or unexpected challenge that later turned into a really important learning for you as a founder of Financial Youth Club?
Founder, right now, I'd say I've not really faced many challenges, and I'm glad that FYC has just kept on expanding. Maybe like the rapid growth would be something. Maybe I'm not saying that it's right now it's a challenge, but maybe the rapid growth might be a challenge for me later in the future, or how to manage it properly, because FYC has just kept on expanding through. Um, I think digitally it's expanded a lot, which I love that. Um, but one of my personal challenges, like one of my personal failures that was like a learning moment for me, was I did face a rejection of like a program that I applied for. And it was super, like, I was super excited for it. I worked really hard on the application and stuff and got till the interview round. But I personally think I had it in the bag, but honestly, it did not really work out. I got rejected, and I think that really made me realize that effort does not really guarantee the outcome or the success. And honestly, I feel like each experience, just even the ones that don't go your way, are a really good learning opportunity that you can improve with and come back stronger later on.
Right. So then go to the final question. What would you like to give? What advice would you like to give to the young people who are listening to us today and maybe dreaming of starting for their own in the future?
I tell them to just be really ambitious. Don't shrink yourself to fit your surroundings. Build early, try new things, take internships, take any opportunity that you can find. Even if you're unclear on how to manage it, just take on the responsibility. Clarity does not really come from thinking, it comes from actually doing and taking the steps. And remember one thing, that no matter what you think, no matter what people around you tell you, you're never too young to achieve your dreams, and always just keep trying. Even if you fail, do it again, keep on trying, and just take steps to build your future.
Thank you so much. Now, we are up with all the questions. I would like to summarize the main points, the main key takeaways of our discussion. The first one would be age is just a number. You can do whatever you want, irrespective of your age. Idea is just an idea until it is executed. Apart from that, you have to be dream big. You have to come out of your comfort zone, and you have to do it no matter whatever people are thinking of you, and you have to be different from others to be different. To be successful in your life, you have to be different. You have to do something different from others. So yeah, Adan, thank you so much for sharing your journey so honestly. I'm sure this will inspire a lot of young people to take initiatives and believe in themselves. And to everyone listening, thank you so much for tuning in. If you found value in this conversation, don't forget to share it with someone who genuinely needs to hear it. Once again, thank you so much, Adan, for sparing your time for this discussion.
I'm glad to be here,
So much.
honestly. A lot to be able to share my journey with others and inspire others. So thank you so much for inviting me.
So, yeah. Thank you so much. And this is Mohammed Qasim, and I will once again thank Capstone Program and Adan for especially Capstone Program for giving me this opportunity, and Adan for sparing her time and uh, uh, adding value to this conversation. And so this is Mohammed Qasim signing off. Until next time, take care.